All right, here we are. We're live with the post-COVID-19 episode, whatever, with Garret. How do I pronounce it? Lavaggi?
Bingo.
First try. We didn't even rehearse that. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just got done. Just had a Muay Thai session this morning that I just kind of started training. It was actually only like my 7th session. So if you see my posts on Instagram or Facebook, don't mock me, please. Yeah, and then they got home, did a little workout and got a little workout in. Here we are.
So you said it's your 7th session of Muay Thai. Are you doing
Yes.
that as like a hobby? Are you doing that to train for MMA?
As of right now, I guess like a hobby, just trying to find different ways to kill another human being with my bare hands, which is always nice.
Consensually.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So yeah, just like a hobby right now. Just like a couple of asked me. I talked to my instructor Tom the Bloss. I told his Muay Thai coach is one of our affiliated schools, Driven MMA in Woodbridge, New Jersey. And he has like a jiu-jitsu program too, but he's a Muay Thai. James Meals is his name. He's a Muay Thai coach for Catones.
Okay.
Like he works with Barbosa, Corey Anderson, bunch of Bellator. Whoever like Mark Henry works with, he kind of has his hand in as well a little bit.
For people who don't know who those guys are, they're really famous.
UFC guys, yeah. So yeah, I'm not just, but we have to do them like we do them in his garage. He lives like 20 minutes away from me, so I'm not just going to like some random dude's garage and like trying to throw switch kicks and everything. But yeah, right now I wrestled since I was little for fun, just hobby. Wrestled through high school, got into jiu-jitsu for many reasons we'll go into later. And this is just part of the evolution, I guess. So like I said to Tom, I was like, right now, I told him, I was like, dude, I'm striking with James right now. I'm just looking to acquire knowledge. I even told him, I was like, dude, if I ever go to your gym, I don't even want to spar for like the first 4 months. I just want to acquire knowledge. I think that's something that most like at my gym, like, new students come in white belts, like I make them train for like 2-3 months before they're allowed to roll live, for their safety, for other people's safety, not for like submissions or anything. I mean, most people who know jiu-jitsu will realize submissions aren't the dangerous parts. It's the how do I say this by being nice?
The unknown.
Yeah, the spazzy white belt, just like flailing around, and then your arm gets bent. They land on that, and just stuff like that. So that's why I don't think I would ever go in and like be capable of like hitting somebody really hard.
Sure.
I don't want to get hit really hard. But I just want to acquire knowledge probably the rest of the year, and then we'll take it from there. We'll see where everything takes us with COVID, the gym, myself, work, and everything. So
couple of things from that. One, I think you're exactly right when it comes to having that goal be transparent and set up front. Hey, I'm not here to be competitive. Away. I'm here to acquire knowledge, understand what's going on for the sake of, my interest and passion and
absolutely.
hobby. And then where it goes from there, who's to say? That's important. But so one of the, it's funny, my first cousin started jiu-jitsu yesterday.
Cool,
he's never
awesome.
done any grappling. It was his first class yesterday. We just, we reopened after COVID, and I was kind of his training partner, telling him what to do and, helping him through drills and whatnot. And it gets to be like live rolling at the end of class. He's like, what should I do? I was like, just watch.
Yeah.
Just like day one, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Grab a drink, sit down. Like, it's fine. Like, and I respect people. I love people that are eager and everything. Like I said, I wrestled my whole life. I started jiu-jitsu. I wrestled all the way through college, through high school, basically. Took like a couple years off when I was in elementary school, and I just wrestled during the season. I never wrestled off season or anything. I thoroughly just enjoyed it. I was part of a really good team. It was just fun to do, and even me, like, so I had like a very good understanding of my body and whatnot. Like, I didn't bust Tom's chops. Like, hey man, like I wrestled. Like, let me roll live. Like, we had the rule, like you get 2 stripes on your white belts. I sat back and waited, like, okay, like I get 1 stripe. All right. Like, all right, cool. When's the next one going to come? Month, 2 months, second one came. I was like, all right, cool. And then I started shooting double legs and getting guillotine and trying to just like smash the wrestler stuff, just trying to smash people. And then I was getting triangled, and I was like, good thing I waited.
Yeah, really. I think that's, and you're learning sort of lessons before you enroll of like being patient, right?
Yep.
I think that and I don't know if we touch on it too much, but the impatience and the erratic and spastic movements of people is sort of what's going to get both them in trouble being caught in submissions and their unknowing training partner who may be more experienced getting elbowed or kneed in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, that's cool. So, other than wrestling, did you play any other sports growing up?
Like in high school, no. Well, I did track my senior year in high school just for the hell of it. Mainly, I wanted to hang out with my friends, like my assistant wrestling coach, who's one of the most incredible human beings ever. I played like little league. Little league, played basketball like for 1 or 2 years. Did taekwondo like as like a 5-8-year-old. Somehow I got my black belt.
Oh wow!
But that's it's cool. Here you go.
You're double black belt.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, big time double black belt. No, I wrestled. And that was really it. Wrestled little league, and yeah, just the kind of normal stuff. Rode dirt bikes a lot. I grew up right across. I think people think about like New Jersey. It's basically they think it's like New York.
Right.
But I grew up right across the street from a pit. Open land, dirt, jumps, all that stuff. So I rode my dirt bike a lot and whatnot as a kid. Not like professionally or, but just
hats off to that, because that's one sport I mean, I feel like I was pretty adventurous as a kid. I did BMX. Yeah. And I think my worst injuries ever were from BMX. I mean, let alone dirt bike. My one buddy got a concussion. He was like in the hospital from dirt bike. But that's really tough. Yeah, no, it's funny you say that. I have a friend from college wrestling. He was in Cumberland Regional. That was his high school in New Jersey. So it's like South Jersey. And when I think of New Jersey, I think of either the shore or, pretty densely populated near city areas.
Yeah.
And when people think of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, they think of Amish, like farm country. So he comes to visit me. He's like, wow, I really love your city. Your downtown's really great. And I go to visit him, and he lives in the middle of the woods. So completely backwards, you never.
Yeah,
never
like Cumberland, Salem County, even like Southern Ocean County, which is kind of where I'm at. I'm more like Central Ocean. Like my gym's 20 minutes south, Southern Ocean. Dude, like half our town is Little Lake Harbor. Half the town's Bass River State Forest.
Huh.
So like it's fully protected land and everything. Like it's pretty cool down there. You could literally be in our little downtown section and then take one of the roads, Stage Road it is, I think. Yeah, you take Stage Road and you don't know where you are.
That's so wild.
Yeah, it's nice.
So growing up in a place like that, what sort of inspired you, motivated you to get into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? How'd that happen?
So what really got me into Jiu-Jitsu, like I said, I wrestled. I tell you, I guess that's what you want, the exact story. So I wrestled wrestled basically my whole life. Then I got then I didn't want to wrestle in college, so I started not coaching wrestling, but just showing up as like an alma mater for somebody to for the guys to work out with and just roll with. And I think I was 20 years old. One of my ex-teammates came in and said, "Hey, I just started training at Orange County Jiu-Jitsu. You want to come in?" So he's like, "You want to come in tonight?" I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Absolutely. So the main reason, probably just like the love of, like I said before, I call it all wrestling, just the love of wrestling, submission wrestling, whatever. The love of grappling. Yeah, grappling is a common term. Just for the love of grappling, A, and B, I wanted to be a cop my whole life. My parents were like, well, a couple of reasons. Like, my parents wanted me to do it. A, good job, like as far as like financially, pension, benefits, all like the adult stuff. But plus my parents instill like very, very good morals in me and whatnot. And, not despite what, everything that's kind of going on now, I won't touch on that, but like I always looked at cops and most of them do. The vast majority of them do. Cops have like super, super good morals, just good human beings. I always look at them as kind of like the best of the best for the most part. So down here in the Jersey Shore, we have what's called like class 1 and class 2 cops, which is basically, I guess, to put it in lamest terms, but it's not the truth, like rent-a-cop almost. So like class 1, you're basically like a meter maid. Class 2, you're a full-blown cop. You just don't get paid as good. Like you carry a gun, went to the police academy, full cop duties. You just don't get paid as good. You don't get to bring your gun home with you.
Right.
So this is one thing that upsets me with you see like a lot with like the officers being untrained and everything. This is why like when I post about it, I speak with the passion and I'm educated on it. I'm not just,
Oh, sure.
random person. So like my first thought when I was getting into law enforcement and everything and wanting to be a cop was like, hey, I know how to wrestle. Okay, good. But I need to continue my training because guess what? If the cops arrest somebody, they grab them. Put your hands behind your back. Well, if you grab somebody, you better know how to go.
Right, because they're not just going to be like wet noodles and let you put their hands behind your back and waste time.
Yeah, like if you grab somebody, you got to be able to scrap.
Right.
And honestly, that was the main reason behind it, and that's why one thing I'm very passionate about is and I'm not trying to talk down on any officer, but that's one thing I don't understand, like how you can. I have a lot of cops that train me, awesome guys, awesome police officers, and that's one thing I don't understand, how you can be a officer and not train. It's like training. It's like qualifying with your firearm. It's like knowing the law. Like it's part of the job. You don't have to be a black belt world champ. You only got to be a black belt. You don't got to be a pearl belt. If you're a blue belt,
right,
you will dominate. And almost, I would say 99% of people you come into contact
it's
with.
good for their health and their protection and self-defense, and the people that they have to sort of de-escalate the physical situation with.
And one thing cops always talk about was like, go home at the end of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? Training jiu-jitsu will it insure it? No, maybe the guy's got a gun. Despite a lot of people think jiu-jitsu doesn't work with against a gun or a knife or probably anything like that. But you're giving yourself a better opportunity. And to go home at night for your safety, your family's safety, peace of mind, and for society's safety. And that's one thing I'm very passionate about.
If you follow Joe Rogan's podcast, or if you had the chance to listen to that at all, but I think it was episode 1492, Jocko Willink was on there, and for maybe hour and a half, Joe said, "Hey, Jocko, how would you train? How would you address the police situation in the United States? What would you do differently?" And it was very interesting. He would take 20% of their time that they're, scheduled to work, and have that be for continuing education and training in jiu-jitsu and training in, hand-to-hand combat, the right way, for lack of a better term.
I think instead of working 5 days, work 4, have a day where you go train.
And the other thing that he said, which was pretty interesting, and you kind of touched on this benefit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu too, is peace of mind. He said that when you have soldiers going overseas, they don't do a deployment for, 48 months straight, because that's just too psychologically taxing. You need R&R, you need to be able to come back, reset, relax, recover, and whatnot. And he's like, police officers, my grandfather, who I was named after, was a police officer, either a correctional officer for Montreal provincial penitentiary, or around the suburbs and city for 40 years. That's a long time to be, on the job. And it's funny, I grew up, half my family is in law enforcement. So my cousin, detective half my family is Canadian. So detective for Montreal, my uncle, correctional officer, and then another cousin, correctional officer, and then the little one, my female cousin's son or nephew, whatever. He's like 12. He's like, I'm going to be a cop someday. So how rare that is in today's society to be a young kid dreaming of being a cop. But no,
it is a brutal job too. Like I worked like full time in one of the shore towns around here, and then I got a job, like a full time job, and I was not good at it. I was not a good police officer. It is a brutal job. Like I have so much respect for the good ones. For the good ones, I have the utmost respect for. I love them to death. Some of my good friends are cops. Some of my students are cops. They're amazing people. And man, people don't realize, even just pulling somebody over and like writing them a ticket, or like that's just like that. It's a brutal job, man.
Because you're opening up a Pandora's box every time. Yeah, you don't know what that will end up being like. You don't know who's on the other side of there.
Exactly. Yeah, and like if you like write somebody a ticket, like you basically ruin their day. Some people and some people deserve them too. But like that even something, that's what people don't understand. Something that little, take just like you're chiseling away like a statue, like just that little bit.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, and who knows when that can happen, God forbid. So I'll be the first to defend, and I'll be the first to defend pro cop or good cops. I'll be the first to criticize bad cops. I've seen both. When I was working there and around.
Sure. So now that you're you've done a career path change, if you will, since starting jiu-jitsu in Ocean County with Tom, you've stuck with it, obviously. Now you're
a little bit.
train here a little bit more than the casual would train, I would say.
Yeah.
No, but jokes aside, you're at Pinelands BJJ, and you also work part-time as an essential worker at Costco, right?
Yes. Yeah. I own, operate, do everything, I guess, for the most part. Some of my students mop the mats for me at the end, though, which is appreciated at the end of the night. I don't make them. Relax if you're watching this and freaking out. I don't make them. They do it willingly, I think. So yeah, been open for only 2 years, August 1st. Going good. Even despite all things considered, it's going very, very good. And work at Costco as well right now. So busy days, long nights, early mornings, everything, stressful, but definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. And after I was doing my first career change I was working at UPS. And so I was working there full time, and great job, lucrative job, pension, all this other stuff, but not fulfilling. And I think that's one thing, whether you're just doing jiu-jitsu for a hobby or like your livelihood, or even if your livelihood you don't want to be jiu-jitsu or something, do something that fulfills you. Like you have to. If you don't, you're just committing slow suicide, I think.
Yeah, I think whether you die immediately or you die prolonged, you're still dying. So that's a good way to put it. So would you say that was your ultimate reason for opening the gym, was just that you felt called to it, that it was filling that sense of purpose and meaning?
In shortest terms, yeah. Like it was just the only constant. I get bored very easily of things. Like even when I play video games, I'm like, all right, I'll play a video game for like 30 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm done with this game, or I'm done with this career path, or I want to go do something, or blah, blah, blah. And so like the only thing constant in my life has been, from a child up till now, we'll just call it grappling, has been grappling, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. And as an adult, it's been jiu-jitsu. It's only been the constant thing in my life. And I've had so many great instructors, from like my Matt Rats coach, Coach Vern, Coach Birmingham, Bischoff, the head wrestling coach at Central, Clerica, the assistant coach, Tom, all the assistants at Ocean County. And I, for my selfish reasons, I needed to fulfill me. I wanted to have a good time living life and all this other stuff. And then also like non-selfishly, I guess, like I'd be selfish if I kept all the knowledge and all the passion I have for jiu-jitsu to myself. I know it's maybe like something, cliche to say, but it's the absolute truth. So, and I want to do the best I can. Like seeing like the little kids come in, like they're happy to scrap. Like the 16-year-old kid whose mom says, like he looks up to me, and like you make them feel wanted, and everything like that's.
You can't put a price tag on that.
Yeah, that's it, man.
And if you're weighing that feeling versus a pension, I mean, that's, to me, it's not even a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't buy that.
No, you can't. And every time, like, again, you kind of know it. Like it's kind of like unspoken. You kind of know it, like that those things take place. But like when you hear it, it's just like it makes like your week. Like not your hour, not your day, makes your week, your month. Just like, okay, like waking up at 3 a.m. to go to work, taking a little nap, and then like getting right back to it, teaching 3-4 classes a night. Just like if one little girl enjoyed it, like that night, it was worth it. Absolutely. Yeah. Like it's amazing.
Man, that is really cool. So aside from, the gratification you get from impacting people's lives positively from coaching and running the school, providing, 3 to 4 classes a night, you said, which is, man, that's a heavy schedule there.
It's a lot, but it's good.
How do you find the selfish aspect of the sport to be a competitor? I know the first time I was introduced to you, I watched you compete against somebody that was on a prior episode of this, AJ Deshani. And I was like, wow, that was impressive because I've never seen him. You know, he's for a purple belt, he's pretty active competitively.
AJ's smooth. He's good.
And
Yeah.
I watched that match and I was like, holy levels to this shit.
Yeah.
To this stuff.
Yeah. I thought I would be the first one. So man, that's absolutely the toughest part. It's tough, but I sacrifice my training for my students. Like, say, let's get a quick example. Where do I find the time? Whenever it's available, in all honesty. So like if there's 8 people, 10 people wanting to roll at the end of class, like I'm the one that sits out. I'm like, you guys are, excuse me. I'm like, you guys are paying customers. You guys get first dibs. You guys get the rolls. So, but if somebody, drops out or there's an odd amount of people, that's when I jump in. So it can be definitely very, very difficult, but that's also something like that I'm taking a lot of pride in. Right. That like, hey, I'm not like a crazy professional athlete. I'm not training with, like I'm not training purple belts, black belts, pearl belts, with all the guys like in New York or like the whatever other crazy teams they got there. I'm training with Joe, Sean that nobody knows about who have these, run of the mill, not to talk down, but like, it's like,
you're everyday guys. You're not training a professional. You're not training at a professional camp.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time, like every day in, day out. Like some of these people that are in the UFC, or the people that are going to ADCCs, like as their primary, source of income would be to be a professional athlete. You're like, hey, professionally, I'm a coach and I'm here to serve you. I find that to be incredibly, admirable. That you're just like, hey guys, like you guys come first. Servant leadership is the word I was looking for.
So I find it when I can. I mean, there will literally be some like a week where I maybe get like 4 rolls in,
right?
Like 6 minutes each, 8 minutes each. So it's like, all right, great, but it's no big deal. The one thing I miss the most is kind of drilling and just taking class and sitting there and absorbing knowledge and whatnot. Which is probably why I started taking like the Muay Thai lessons and everything. But it's also awesome. Like I'm not drilling, but watching my students drill and I'm seeing them maybe having trouble with it and then understanding it and then executing it properly. Like that's honestly probably more rewarding.
So one question I like to ask people that have been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a while is, if you had a time machine, you're a black belt now, and really great lineage black belt. But if you could go back to like your 2-stripe white belt days before your first like end of class live roll, what would be like one lesson you'd like to tell yourself to like work on as like a beginner?
Biggest lesson, I would say, and something so simple, and this is gonna sound stupid too, maybe, don't lead with your head. Like, especially the, wrestlers, they're always down here, whether it's from the stand, from the new, I hate when people call it standing, neutral position.
Right.
So I try to say standing from the neutral position. Wrestlers they're hunched over. I don't want to get up in a stance over here, but you know the deal. They're hunched over and everything. So whether, judo guys are like this and all that stuff, and jiu-jitsu, I don't even know what jiu-jitsu guys do.
They're all over the place.
Yeah,
they have a rolling and they're
that's the beautiful part of it. Like I think, anyway. So I don't want to go on a tangent.
No, you're good.
Don't lead with your head. Like even when it's somebody's guard or half guard, I would just be like just put my forehead, head, hand, hips, the lines of defense.
Yeah.
Like use your head as a line of defense, which is good in some points, but use it in the wrong spot, you can get choked relatively easily.
But yeah, I mean the off switch on your whole body is like right here, right attached to your head. So
so why not lead with that, right? But that would be probably it's like the biggest lesson. A and B, I feel like this is very true for all white belts. Just relax, and it's not that I was like, maybe a little bit. I probably still am right now. It's not that I was like spazzy, but I was just used to like that wrestler mentality, that go, action, hand fight, club, angle, step, all that stuff. And even when passing somebody's guard or somebody on my back, that's when I would still have that mentality. But it's like, no, relax, assess. And jiu-jitsu is such a completely different game. Like wrestling is like checkers, the saying jiu-jitsu is chess, but it's 100% true. Like there's obviously a strategy and whatnot to wrestling, but take that to jiu-jitsu and it's tenfold.
So you were saying earlier that, in keeping in the line of thought of the tempo and the pace and the speed difference, that you would train like 6 to 8 minute rounds.
Yeah.
Like if you had your choice of like, this is you time, this is for you to train for a competition, how would you structure that like ideal training situation? Would you do 8 minute rounds, like 10 of them? Would you do, 6 minute rounds, a minute in between or 10 seconds in between? What would the tempo and pacing look like?
So I think like I'll just base it. Obviously, it all depends on like what you're actually getting ready for. That's one thing I like about jiu-jitsu, and also this at the same time I don't like about jiu-jitsu is that there's so many different rule sets, like submission only. All right, submission only judge's decision. All right, submission only EBI overtime, ADCC points. I won't even go on. So I'll up the entire podcast. But so let's just say getting ready for ADCC trials. Cause that's kind of like my main goal right now, and I feel like that's probably everybody's main goal. That's an active competitor. I like the 6 minute rounds. Just I don't like 6 minutes as like I wouldn't want that, but that's what they are. So you gotta abide by it.
Right.
I would do like 6 minutes and just keep it very, very like wrestling based for like half of them. So let's just say 6-10 minute rounds.
Okay.
All right. Well, for 3 of them, we're just going to wrestle. Take them down, let them up. Take them down, let them up. If you land in a submission, and try to keep that chain of submission. So if I double leg somebody, they get me in a guillotine. It's not like, all right, take them down, let them up. It's escape the guillotine or finish the guillotine, then start back over. So probably do just like 3 rounds of that, 3-4 rounds of that. And then one thing I think that's especially for ADCC, people don't want to give up points. You give up points by going to your back or your butt on a takedown or a sweep or anything. So the turtle position is very, very important. Maybe not even so much taking the back. When we do in my school, I call them ride outs. So literally just like college wrestling, just ride the guy out. Just person on bottom, you're looking to get guard or stand back up. Person on top, you're literally looking to just hold them down or take the back and actually get your points. And once they recover or you take their back, then you stop. And I won't do that for like a whole 6 minutes. Like, all right, like Ross, you're on top of Garret for 6 minutes. Go.
Yeah.
I would do like, all right, like 1 minute each. You know what I mean? So like Ross on top of Garret 1 minute. If you change positions, just reset. Garret on top of Ross for 1 minute, and then just do that constantly. Probably do that for like 2 rounds, and then the rest just kind of roll. And of course, always throw like situational training in there and whatnot.
Right.
Sparing, like in between your rolls. Like when I roll a lot of the guys, for me, I mean, like you said, there's levels to this. For me, it's basically like situational training. Like I got guys that are good. D3 wrestler. He's training my school. He's going back to college now to wrestle. Just other good wrestlers, good leg lock guys, good top pressure guys. So like I use that as my drilling, as my situational roles, and I think a lot of people do that.
That's an interesting point. So you take other people's strengths and you say, okay, how do I adapt to other people's strengths? Is that kind of one of the things?
Yeah. So like I had one dude come in literally on Saturday. He was friends with one of my students. He's more of like a Muay Thai guy. So literally when we were in the neutral position, I didn't even wrestle with him. I literally just pummeled for the Muay Thai clinch and just worked out of that. Like, all right, what again, we weren't punching or elbowing, probably a good thing for me. but so I was like, okay, if he were to punch me in the face or he were to knee me in the stomach, like what kind of setups could I get off to get to a single leg or a high crotch? And I would like do that, take him down, pass his guard, cut him, let him up and everything. And I would just work that. So like it's kind of selfish taking to speaking of that, it's kind of like selfish, like kind of using people, I guess. But at the same time, if you're substantially better than them, they're going to get better at that position as well.
Well, it's actually, it's interesting you phrase it that way. So what I do like computer science sort of as my day job in a way, like IT, digital marketing, whatever, websites. So when you're writing code, it's all logic. So it's if-then statements. So you're putting yourself in situations, okay, let's try this situation. If they do this, then I'll do this. And a lot of chess, that's why one of the reasons computers are so much better than humans at it is because you're taking a set of possibilities and you're narrowing it down to saying which one, like, what are my odds of this one being the best decision to make. So you can only get that after so many, simulations, if you will. I'm a big chess player. I don't know if you play chess, but
no, no, human chess. That's about it.
Human chess. There you go.
Yeah, one thing, like you're talking about, like the scenarios and whatnot that come up. One thing I always tell my students, like, you can initiate a move, but like, I don't want to put a percentage on it. The majority of the time, everything you do will be determined by the other person.
Interesting.
So like I can grab a single leg. Great. All right, cool. So let's not even worry about the setup. I'm in on a single leg. All right, well, is he whizzering? Is he trying to limp leg out? Like what is he pushing my head away with the whizzer? Is he looking to get? And then my finish is determined off of that. So you can initiate it, but they're gonna block it. So you better have a plan B, C, D, E, F, and all the way down the line.
Yeah.
So that's I say I probably have like 5 or 6 lines I say at my gym a lot, and like everybody's probably sick of hearing them, but I say it because they're true, and they've gotten me to be a fairly decent black belt, I would like to say.
So what are some of these lines? I'm not at your gym. I'll hear at least one.
I'm probably gonna you don't want to hear some of the ones. Call them Lavaggi-isms. And then we were gonna have like I'm still waiting. They say they're gonna bring it, and my students say we're gonna bring a book and just leave it on the windowsill, and whatever you say, we're just gonna like jot down middle class. So if you guys are watching this, I'm still waiting for the book. Yeah. That's on you guys, not me.
Hey, his 2-year anniversary is August, so there's a perfect gift.
There you go. One thing I say a lot, and it's usually when somebody's doing the move kind of wrong and kind of bad, but they like and understand the concept of it, I'll like look at them. Those be looking down, then like do like a sumigachi sweep. I'll just like look at them, and then they'll just look at me, and I'll just go, yeah, that's the idea. And then I just like walk away. They're just like stuck staring at me like I think that was an insult. But at the same time, like, yeah, well, you kind of got it. If they sucked, you would be good at it.
Listen, my cousin Dave's first class was yesterday, and he goes, "Hey, did I do that right?" I'm like, "Yeah, right enough."
That's the idea. Yeah, you got it. That's the idea. You got a good concept of it.
Yeah, because if I go through every excruciating small detail of how I think it's right, I mean, let alone somebody that's actually more experienced than me, like who am I to say it's right for you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like everybody's judged and graded differently. Like I'm not going to expect the retired 55-year-old guy to, start hitting the same moves at the same way that the 16-year-old kid is, even if they have the same time in on the mats. It's not expected. And one thing, like if I say like a white belt, like kind of do the move, like get the idea of it. Like and they just have I'll just say it. They have the idea of it. I like won't correct them too much because I don't want them to start overthinking it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's
like,
a good point.
All right, like sumigachi sweep, like, okay, over, under, fall, and just kick your underhook leg over. And, should they be concerned about loading them up and, jacking up their underhook? Yeah, of course they should. But, like the first couple times maybe, like you don't need to throw everything in there. Like when you're making food, you put a little bit in at a time. You don't just put it all in a bowl and then just dump it in there. You take the garlic, sauce, and then start putting everything together. You don't just put it in a bowl and dump it and say, look what I made.
Well, yeah, that's true. Not from a culinary arts perspective, but from like a project management perspective. Excuse me. One of the things that I would say to people is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Exactly.
You're not all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So
sure.
So with, since March, we've had this COVID-19 quarantine happening. You're essential at Costco, but they didn't deem Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as an essential business which in my opinion, I won't get too deep into it, but
I just calmed down over the past 3 weeks.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit how you have adapted to that and how Pinelands BJJ, is approaching on the 2-year mark, Tell me a little bit about that experience.
So originally, it's so much to process. So before, like, every state's different. So before New Jersey really shut down, I took the initiative, like, shut down 2 days beforehand. And it wasn't a decision I was happy to make. I didn't want to make it.
Right.
But it was like you said before, more about like jiu-jitsu. It's like the fear of the unknown and whatnot. So like nobody knew what was going on. Nobody still knows what's going on. Without getting into that.
Right.
So like 2 weeks before, I was like, guys, like, we're just gonna take the week off. Like, everybody comes into contact with hundreds of people throughout the week. Depending on, like, me at work, I come into contact with probably like thousands of people throughout the week. So like, let's just take the week off, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And then 2 days later, it was just completely taken out of my hands. So we started doing was just the Zoom classes and whatnot. Zoom, Facebook Live, just doing workouts together. And the thing that was tough with jiu-jitsu, we don't have the katas that other martial arts. We kind of do, but they're not part of the training. You could always stance, motion, hand fight, move your body and all that stuff. But, we don't have like I don't even know if I'm doing it right. Sorry if you do karate and you're watching me. We don't have this and all that stuff.
It's been a while since you used your TKD black belt.
Yeah. It's been a while since 8-year-old black belt Garret Lavaggi has thrown up a block. But so that was something that was very, very tough. But I had a couple of guys that would help me do it and everything, help my students. But like the people at home, they didn't have like they don't really have training partners, unless their wife or kid were willing to learn and to do it, which I think could actually be a good thing, because they're like, oh, this is kind of fun, doing in the safety of not even like physical safety, like mentally safety, ego safety, doing it in your house and whatnot. So I think it was actually a good way to reach a lot of people, not even maybe for my school, with like other schools. So try to see the good in everything. But man, just like the Zoom classes, trying to stay connected with people, running contests for the kids. Like I had the kids create their own jiu-jitsu school logo.
Oh, cool.
And give the winner a free gi. To then just kind of branch out from jiu-jitsu, do like some like yoga, stretching classes, some mobility classes, kettlebell classes, just stuff to keep people active. Even if it's not jiu-jitsu, just keep them with it, keep people in a routine so that doesn't get broken. Obviously, the first like 2-3 weeks, I don't want to say it was cool, but it was good. It was going good and everything. And then of course, it kind of just like, all right, well, I'm not on the mats. Like, what's this Zoom class about? It kind of fades out. But once that kind of faded out, we just got back on the mats and, we just went right to it. Everybody can look at the facts themselves and come up with their own determination. And I respect your decision. Will be, like I said, I respect everybody's decision. I told them, do what you gotta do. We'll be on the mats. And one thing that I can't believe is like the overwhelming amount of like support that like all the students gave me. Like
that's awesome.
Like losing jobs or getting hours cut or whatever. And like a lot of people, not even a lot, the vast majority, the overwhelming majority of my students, we're relatively a brand new school, but 2 years in August. So when this happened, it wasn't even like, it was like a year and a half, and like stuck around and, just stuck by my side and everything. And, just to have that commitment was like something I will never forget. And I make sure they know that, as much as I make fun of them all the time, definitely something I hold near and dear to my heart. If I don't make fun of you, I don't like you.
That's exactly right.
I feel like that's how everybody is. But like that's something I literally can't repay. I don't know how I could or anything, but I definitely appreciate that like tremendously.
So, let's say that perfect world, July 1, coronavirus doesn't exist anymore. It's cured. We're back to normal. What are your plans going forward? If there's coronavirus or not, how do you see yourself in 2 to 5 years from now?
Oh man. Well, the immediate 2 to 5 years. Man, in the immediate future, ADCC trials are the number one thing, and they're like 5 months away in November. They're actually held at where I went to high school with.
Really?
Where I went to high school. Where I went to high school. Yeah, right. Central Region. I'm literally a mile away.
Huh.
So when I only finished top 8, I was pretty upset because it would have been pretty cool to win the East Coast trials at the gym that we won state championships at and everything. So it would have been
oh wow,
not
you
me
guys won
for
state championships in wrestling?
Yeah, my freshman and sophomore year, I was only on varsity for one of them. We won back to back, not the whole state. We won our region.
Okay.
We won South. We were South Jersey, North Central South.
So did you guys compete against like Paulsboro?
They were group 2. We were group 3.
Okay.
So yeah, Paulsboro was like still nasty somehow.
Yeah.
But we were group 3, won back-to-back state sectional championships. I think we made it to states all 4 years I was in high school, which was cool and whatnot.
Wow.
But it just would have been awesome to like win there then. So when I messed up and went for a heel hook on Jason Rao for some god awful reason, I was a little upset. Still, I still think that every now and then. I'm like, why would I do that against like probably one of the best leg lockers around? But Jason's an awesome guy. I talk to him. I mean, not like a lot, but I talk to him sparingly. Anytime he competes, I root for him. 2 to 5 years, man. It's just, I don't want to say more of the same, but man, it's kind of more of the same. You know, just trying to grow the school, just be a good coach. You know, who knows, like with the whole striking stuff, who knows where that's going to go. Like I said, I'm just here. I just want to learn right now. You know, possibly maybe do MMA. I honestly, that's not even really a thought. I honestly have no idea. But, you know, just like the competitor in me, not that I'm a man, I'm like 5'7", 170 pounds. Right. But just like, I guess like, just that competitor, that like mentality of just always wanting to push myself and everything, you know, like I don't plan on, if I ever do it, I don't plan on making a lot of money off. I just plan on doing it for like my pride and kind of and whatnot. Right. That's something that's important. But mainly first focus, just keep growing the school, just keep reaching other people, hopefully get a bigger facility in 2-3 years and whatnot. And just take from there. Hopefully don't have to wear a Costco anymore.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was watching the show called The Last Kingdom on Netflix. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before.
I've heard it, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, Danes and Anglo-Saxon history, loosely based on history. I don't know how close it is, but one of the quotes you made me, you said something that made me think of it was like, you know, a warrior doesn't fight necessarily for women or, you know, gold, but their glory and reputation. So, you know, who really cares? It's the intrinsic reward. I find that, you know, I don't know in school. I train, but to be more satisfactory than anything that's more material.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's one of the main reasons I compete. Like, you know, I understand who I am, what I am. I'm not Gary. I'm not nobody's Gordon. Nobody's even Gary. Gary's incredible. I always tell people I like compete a couple times before Gary like was Gary as we know him now. Like a couple like when Grappler's Quest was still around, like a couple people like came up to me and were like, "Oh, Gary, like nice to actually watch you compete." Whatever. Like, my name's Garrett, not Gary. Like they thought I was Gary, and they're like, I swear to God, this happened at one Grappler's Quest. So I was going against a guy, pulled guard, let a toe hold within like, I don't know, like 25 seconds, something like that. Walk off the mats, and the guy comes up to me, he's like, "Gary, awesome match, man. Like really like watching you compete." I'm like, "Cool, man. Like my name is Garrett, though. I just trained with Gary." And the guy literally looked at me and goes, "Oh, okay," and just like straight up walked away. I was like, "Well, I still did pretty good, right, dude? Like, give me something." But
That's funny, man.
Anyway, like I understand like who I am, what I am. Like we said before, I don't get to train. Some weeks I don't get. There'll be like 2-3 days I don't get to roll at all, or drill or anything like that. But I just do it more for like my pride, man, and stuff like that. And you know, just show my students like, you know, we're out here, we're not afraid, we're going, you know, because that's what they are. You know, that's what they are. They, you know, they just have like you said before, kind of like, you know, it's the everyday jobs. If they want to go compete, how can I be afraid to step up against better competition, right, and expect them to do the same? You know, because they may be going up against somebody who's up and coming, who like doesn't work or at all and just does jiu-jitsu and is like super dedicated to it, you know, and they're in the same boat as me with that.
So, you know, I always ask everybody at the end of a podcast episode it's called "What's your 2 cents?" as the question. Now that could be your one piece of advice for anyone listening. It could be a motto. You know, he gave you one of your 6, but if you have a more official one, or like a favorite quote. What's one? Just leave your 2 cents. It's solicited. We're all asking for it. As like a final remark, as we're kind of running. I don't want you to miss class today. I know you got.
I got another like 20 minutes if you want to let it rip. I'm good with it. I guess I hate like at the end of class or even before at the end of class, like everybody, like I'm sure, I don't know how other schools, I'm sure they operate the same, like everybody.
Oh, we lost audio a little bit.
Sorry, I got muted. Somebody's trying to call me. My fault.
Oh, you're good.
So like, before, I don't know how they do it at your gym, but every gym everybody lines up before class, and at the end of class, the instructor's in front and talks and says something. I always try to give something insightful. So I just want to preface this by saying I'm not a philosopher. And I always say this to my students, like I'm not a philosopher. I'm not like a social influencer. A lot of my students are much more successful than I am. But one thing, we mentioned it before, one thing I truly, truly, truly believe in is like trying to bring yourself internal happiness, not looking at something else that will give it to you, whether it's like a car or a motorcycle or a nice fancy house or a luxury purse or whatever. So just look at yourself and just make yourself happily internally. And I think the biggest thing that is determined on is like doing what you want in life. Like I said, from going from doing the police officer thing, that kind of like, my parents like were pushing me to do and everything. So it was a very good job. We gave the reasons. B, I don't know about it now, but it was looked at as this job that like everybody held to a high standard, like, oh, he's a cop, blah, 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 all that stuff. And like, people like, oh, wow. So like once I kind of put that to the side and put like, then I worked at UPS, lucrative job, great money. I'd be making like $100,000 a year. Like $90,000 a year right now, but I'd be dying out there. I'd be miserable every single day. And so like, once I like put that to the side and everything, like I just sat down and realized like, wow, I need to do what's going to make me happy internally and not all these other things. Like before I opened up my school, I was driving a brand new, thing I bought in 2017. I was driving a brand new 2017 Mercedes at like 24 years old, 26, 25 years old. It was awesome. But it didn't give me happiness at all. Like it was cool to like go to Atlantic City and like valet park it and get out and like, go to the craps table or the baccarat table and everything. But as cool as that was, it wasn't worth the money. It wasn't worth the time that I was putting in.
Sure.
It wasn't worth the time I was putting in, taking away from things I would want to do to justify it, So I guess in short, I forgot. There's a quote that somebody says, "Find what you love and let it kill you."
Oh my God, I love that one. Who said that?
I know. I don't know.
Was it Christopher McCandless?
Somebody Google it. But
I'm Googling. I'm on it. Charles Bukowski. Charles Bukowski said that. Yeah, excellent quote.
Find what you love and just let it kill you.
I don't know if you drink beer, but if you do, and you go to Boston, what's that?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My fault.
I said, if anything, there is a Charles Bukowski bar in Boston, Massachusetts. I've been up there for a couple times, and even if you just grab a sandwich, that place is pretty cool. Anyway, I get excited.
I've never had a beer in my entire life. I hate beer. I despise it. I mean, not that I rarely drink. I despise beer though. Like I don't care what IPA it is. I don't care this, that. Yeah. Oh, I hate it.
If you're going to have your carbs, it'll be in the form of food.
Yeah. Mostly pasta.
There you go.
But yeah, just if I can make one suggestion real quick. I don't know if it's still on that. I think it is, because one of my students just watched it, I believe. I just had like a very like good heart to heart with him and whatnot. Very super successful guy, like 40 years old. He's like has a kid, wife, house, all this stuff. He's like asking me. I'm like, dude, I barely know what's money is up half the time.
Sure.
But watch and this absolutely changed my life. I watched when I was working at UPS, the Minimalist documentary on Netflix.
Okay.
They have a podcast as well. I don't listen to their podcast too much, but the Minimalist documentary on Netflix, just watch it. You don't have to do like everything that I won't get into it for time wise. You don't have to do everything that they do, but just like the message that they sent to me, and I'm assuming to others as well, is so powerful. What everything I said before about like money and happiness and everything, that's one thing that they touched on. It's one thing that was just like, I got to get the ball rolling on what I want to do myself. So that was one of the biggest turning points in my life for sure. The stupid documentary on Netflix.
You know, it's funny. It's funny you say that. So you said you weren't. I'm going to just go back to one of your first statements in that last remark. You said you weren't a philosopher. I guess if you count college, I am a philosopher because that was like my degree. So
sure. Me.
So whatever. Minimalism, extremely interesting. There was a guy that I first followed when I got into doing digital marketing. That's what I've been doing for a couple years now, and named Alex Becker. So at 25,
I feel like I've heard that before. I don't know.
Oh, he's one of the more famous people on YouTube ads. Anyway, if you're a small business owner, you're probably somewhere in his ad targeting spectrum. So, anyway, interesting guy. He became a millionaire by his mid-20s, and then by his late 20s, like 100 million plus. So, but he was cleaning toilets in the Air Force, and he just, he was like, I hate this job. He's like, this sucks. And adamantly, I'm a huge fan of entrepreneurs with ADHD. So adamantly, just too much energy and multiple direction of focus. So he just got into digital marketing and kind of ran that, and ultimately won the capitalism game. And at the end of it, he was just like, had all these exotic cars and things like that. Sold it all, everything, almost everything except for like one painting and like his essentials. And he has like a hyperbaric, like not sleep deprivation, sensory deprivation tank to get minimalism in like, your stimulus and your senses, even there. And he just went like full monk. He's like, yeah, I've never been happier, and I don't really care about money. It just was a step. As long as there's enough money for freedom, that's like the minimum necessary.
That's it, man. That is what everybody's work. That's what freedom. Yeah, that's what everybody works for, but nobody attains it because they're just slaving away at a job that they don't love. And one quote that in the minimalist documentary that they say, and like everybody on that was like a super successful like Wall Street guy or like just stuff like that. One quote that one of the guys said was, he goes, you need to realize, he goes, what I'm about to say isn't some hippie mumbo jumbo. Right. He goes, you have this one life to live. And when you finally realize that, you can decide what you want to do and it'll just be better. I probably butchered it, but one life to live. Yeah. One life to live. Decide what you want to do. I heard that, and it was like towards the end of the documentary. I heard that. I was like, all right, let's start putting a plan into place.
That's right. Well, hey,
for sure,
Garret, it's been a blast. We've I could probably do this for a while, but
I'm always available, man. After work, but between class, I don't do much of anything, work out and everything. So I'm always available for longer, man.
But for everyone that's listening that doesn't know Garret, great guy. If you want to follow him, Pinelands, is it Pinelands BJJ? On your social.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an underscore on that or not or what. Now just look up Pinelands Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's my school. My Instagram name is Gar Gar Lava Lava. So yeah, first couple syllables of first and last. That's really it.
All right, man. Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for your time. It was a pleasure. And for everyone, like, subscribe, follow, all that, and find what you love and let it kill you.
Yes, sir. All right, thanks, Ross. Have a good night, evening, whatever it is. Have a good one, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
You too, man.